Benzene, a chemical classified as a known human carcinogen by the World Health Organization, was detected inside deodorant sprays sitting on bathroom shelves across America. Not in some off-brand import. Not in a product pulled decades ago. In names you recognize. Names you bought last week. But twist open the wrong cap and what you're really rubbing into your skin is benzene residue, synthetic hormone disruptors, and chemical fragrances absorbed straight through your armpits into your bloodstream, disguised as fresh morning confidence. If this has been your go-to brand for 10, 20, 30, everything we found has been building up in your body that entire time. Today, we're breaking down 7 deodorant brands that failed to live up to their clean promises, including 2 that most people consider safe alternatives, plus the 2 brands that actually tested clean and earned a place in your medicine cabinet. Coming in at number 9, Old Spice Aluminum Free. The rugged branding, the viral commercials, the promise that you could ditch aluminum without sacrificing protection. Old Spice marketed its aluminum-free line as a bold, clean choice for men who wanted something better. Then Valisure, an independent analytical pharmacy, tested dozens of aerosol deodorants and antiperspirants from major brands. What they found in multiple Old Spice spray products stopped the conversation cold. Benzene, a chemical the FDA says should not be present at any level in personal care products. Not trace amounts that fall under some acceptable threshold. There is no acceptable threshold. The FDA's position is explicit. Benzene is a known carcinogen with no safe level of exposure. Procter & Gamble, the company behind Old Spice, issued voluntary recalls covering specific aerosol lots. Their statement framed it as an abundance of caution. But caution means testing before you sell, not recalling after people have been spraying carcinogens under their arms for months. Imagine your morning routine. Shower, towel off, grab that familiar red stick or spray can. One press. A mist of benzene particles settling onto the thin, warm skin of your underarm, one of the most absorbent areas on the human body. Now, do that every single day for a year, for 5 years, for a decade. Benzene accumulates. It attacks bone marrow. It disrupts blood cell production. It doesn't wash off in the shower the next morning. It's already inside you. For anyone managing a chronic condition or taking daily medication that already taxes the liver, adding benzene to the mix is like pouring gasoline on a slow fire. Old Spice sells confidence. They delivered contamination. A brand built on bold claims couldn't even keep a known carcinogen out of the can. Your shower routine shouldn't require a hazmat review. But with Old Spice, it might. What's the worst deodorant experience you've ever had? Drop it in the comments below. If the brand built on toughness can't keep its products clean, surely the one designed for sensitivity can. Think again. At number 8, Secret Aluminum Free. The gentle formula, the soft branding, the deodorant marketed specifically to women who wanted something kinder on their skin. Secret built decades of trust on the idea that their product was made with care, designed for the most delicate skin, safe enough to use every single day without a second thought. Then the benzene findings landed on Secret too. During the same wave of nationwide aerosol testing that caught Old Spice, several Secret spray deodorants were flagged for benzene contamination. Procter & Gamble, the same parent company, issued voluntary recalls on affected Secret products alongside the Old Spice recalls. Same company, same contamination. Same corporate playbook. Secret's entire identity is built around gentleness. Sensitive skin formulas. Dermatologist-tested claims. pH-balanced promises. None of that matters when the propellant pushing the product out of the can is laced with a substance linked to leukemia and lymphoma. Think about who buys Secret. Women who specifically chose it because they react to harsher products. Women with eczema, psoriasis, or medication-induced skin sensitivity who read the label, saw gentle and aluminum-free, and trusted that someone had done the work to make it safe. That trust was misplaced. The benzene wasn't in the deodorant formula itself. It was in the aerosol propellant, the delivery system, the invisible mist you inhale while you spray. Every morning, a fine cloud of benzene-contaminated particles entering your lungs, coating your skin, and being absorbed into tissue that sits directly over lymph nodes. For anyone whose immune system is already under strain from medication or chronic illness, that daily dose of inhaled carcinogen compounds every risk you're already managing. Gentle on your skin, carcinogen in your lungs. That's what Secret's protection really looked like. The label said safe, The lab said benzene, and millions of women believe the label every single morning for years. You'd think paying less means accepting more risk, but the budget brands have their own problems hiding in plain sight. Number 7. Suave Aluminum Free. The everyday brand. The one that costs $3 and sits on every pharmacy shelf in America. Suave doesn't pretend to be premium. It doesn't promise organic ingredients or high-end formulations. It promises one thing: affordable protection that works. What it actually delivers is a cocktail of synthetic fragrance compounds and chemical preservatives that have no business sitting against your skin for 16 hours a day. Flip the Suave deodorant over. Read the ingredients. You'll find the word fragrance listed as a single ingredient. That one word is a legal loophole. Under FDA regulations, companies can hide dozens of individual chemicals behind the word fragrance without disclosing any of them. Independent ingredient databases like the Environmental Working Group have flagged Suave products for containing synthetic musks, phthalates, and preservatives associated with skin sensitization and hormonal disruption. Your underarm skin is thin. It's warm. It's moist. It's one of the most permeable surfaces on your body. Whatever you apply there doesn't just sit on the surface. It absorbs. It enters your bloodstream. It circulates through every organ you depend on. For anyone dealing with blood pressure medication side effects that already cause dryness and irritation, or diabetes-related skin sensitivity that slows healing, layering undisclosed chemicals onto compromised skin is a gamble with no upside. And here's the kicker: Suave won't even tell you what those chemicals are. They're not required to. The FDA doesn't force fragrance disclosure. So you're trusting a $3 product to protect ingredients it legally refuses to name. $3 for a product that won't tell you what's actually inside. Affordable doesn't mean safe. It means they spent less on ingredients and nothing on transparency. The cheapest deodorant in the aisle might be the most expensive mistake in your medicine cabinet. And Suave is counting on you never flipping that bottle over to find out. But at least the performance brands are upfront about what's inside, right? Not even close. Number 6. Degree Ultra Clear Black and White. The brand that promises 48-hour sweat protection and no white marks on your black shirts. Degree markets itself to active people. Gym goers, commuters, anyone who needs all-day confidence without the visible residue. The performance pitch sounds impressive. The ingredient list tells a different story. Dermatology forums and consumer complaint databases are filled with reports about Degree products causing rashes, burning sensations, and persistent irritation, even from their so-called clean formulations. Pull the cap off a Degree stick. That sharp, almost chemical sweetness that hits your nose. That isn't clean. That's a wall of synthetic fragrance molecules engineered in a laboratory. The fragrance load in Degree products is aggressive. These aren't subtle scents. They're engineered chemical compounds designed to overpower body odor for 2 full days. That level of fragrance intensity requires potent synthetic molecules, many of which are classified as contact allergens by the European Scientific Committee on Consumer Safety. Degree doesn't just sit on your skin. It fights your biology. 48-hour protection means 48 hours of chemical interaction with your sweat glands, your pores, your lymphatic tissue, and unlike a shirt you can take off, you can't remove what's already been absorbed. For anyone over 50 whose skin has thinned with age, whose cell turnover has slowed, whose body already processes medications through an overworked liver, that's 48 hours of chemical stress on tissue that can't recover the way it used to. 2 full days of synthetic compounds sitting against your lymph nodes. Degree sells endurance. But your skin wasn't built to endure 2 days of synthetic fragrance warfare. Performance on the label. Irritation under your arms. That's 48 hours of protection you never asked for. If you're thinking at least Dove would be gentler, you're about to be disappointed. Number 5. Dove 0% Aluminum. The moisturizing bar company. The self-esteem campaigns. The brand that made caring about skin a corporate identity. Dove 0% Aluminum launched as the compassionate alternative. No aluminum, no alcohol, just 1/4 moisturizing cream and the promise that you'd feel good about what you were putting on your body. Then ingredient analysts looked closer. Behind the moisturizing marketing, Dove 0% still relies on a heavy fragrance system, PEG compounds that help chemicals penetrate deeper into skin, and preservatives that some toxicologists flag for endocrine disruption potential. PEG compounds are penetration enhancers. That's literally their function. They help other ingredients cross your skin barrier more efficiently. In a product with clean ingredients, that's fine. In a product loaded with synthetic fragrance chemicals you can't identify, penetration enhancers are essentially opening the door wider for everything questionable to enter your bloodstream faster. Apply it after a hot shower when your pores are open and your skin is warm. That's maximum absorption of maximum unknowns. For anyone with kidney disease, your body already struggles to filter toxins efficiently. Adding unidentified chemicals through the most absorbent skin on your body is asking compromised organs to do more work. For anyone with diabetes, your skin barrier is already weakened. For anyone on hormone-related medications, adding potential endocrine disruptors to your daily routine is working against your own prescriptions. Dove spent millions telling you to love your skin. They forgot to mention what their product actually does to it once it gets past the surface. 1/4 moisturizing cream, 3/4 marketing, and a full ingredient list that raises more questions than it answers. Drop a comment if Dove is sitting in your bathroom right now. Let's see how many of us have been trusting that label. The next brand on this list is one you'll find in almost every health-conscious household in America. And what's hiding inside will surprise you. But first, if this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It's free, and it means you'll never miss these exposés. A lot of people switched to this next brand thinking they were avoiding everything we just talked about. They weren't. Number 4. Native Deodorant, the Instagram darling. The brand that launched a natural deodorant revolution with pastel packaging and ingredient lists that read like a farmer's market receipt. Native built its entire empire on one promise: clean ingredients that actually work. Coconut oil, shea butter, baking soda, no aluminum, no parabens, no sulfates. The kind of ingredient list that looks like a smoothie recipe. Then the complaints started flooding in. Consumer lawsuits and thousands of online reviews described the same terrifying experience: painful rashes, raw, bleeding skin, chemical burns under the arms that took weeks to heal. The culprit was the very ingredient Native promoted as its star performer: baking soda. Sodium bicarbonate is highly alkaline. Your skin's natural pH sits around 5, slightly acidic. Baking soda pushes that pH to 9 or higher. The result is a chemical disruption of your skin's acid mantle, the protective barrier that keeps bacteria out and moisture in. Destroy that barrier and you get inflammation, cracking, and open wounds in one of the most sensitive areas on your body. Native knew about the complaints for years. Their response was to quietly launch a sensitive line without baking soda, but they never recalled the original. Never warned existing customers, never acknowledged that their flagship formula was causing injury. They just released a second product and hoped you'd figure it out yourself. In 2020, Procter & Gamble acquired Native for a reported $100 million. The same corporation behind the Benzene contaminated Old Spice and Secret now owns the brand that was burning people's skin. Different labels, same parent company, same priorities. For anyone over 50 with thinner skin, slower healing, or circulation issues that delay recovery, a baking soda burn isn't a minor inconvenience. It's an open wound in a warm, moist area prone to infection. Clean ingredients. Chemical burns. Native proved that natural doesn't mean safe. This next one has a loyal fan base that swears by it. What the ingredient list actually shows is a different story entirely. Number 3. Tom's of Maine Long-Lasting Deodorant, the granola brand. The one with the simple packaging and the earnest mission statement about natural goodness. Tom's of Maine has been the default natural choice for decades. Health food stores, co-ops, the medicine cabinet of every person who read one article about aluminum in the 90s and switched immediately. Tom's built its entire reputation on being the honest alternative. The brand your crunchy neighbor recommended. The one that felt wholesome just sitting on the shelf. Then the FDA came knocking. Warning letters were issued to Tom's parent operations over manufacturing practice concerns. Not for the deodorant specifically, but for the broader personal care production facilities where quality control wasn't meeting federal standards. When your manufacturing environment has documented compliance issues, every product that comes off that line carries the question mark. And here's something most Tom's loyalists don't realize. Colgate-Palmolive bought Tom's of Maine back in 2006. That indie brand with the hand-drawn packaging is owned by one of the largest consumer goods conglomerates on the planet. Now look at the deodorant itself. Read the label carefully. Propylene glycol sits near the top of the ingredient list. It's a synthetic compound used as a humectant and solvent in everything from antifreeze to industrial food processing. The FDA considers it generally recognized as safe in small amounts, but you're not using small amounts. You're applying it to your underarms every single morning, where it absorbs through thin skin directly into your body. Day after day, year after year. For anyone on multiple prescription medications, adding another synthetic compound to your daily chemical load is something your doctor never factored into your treatment plan. Tom's charges $7 for the natural experience. The definition of natural, apparently, includes propylene glycol, a corporate parent company, and a manufacturing facility that earned a federal warning letter. Honest ingredients on a label that got a government citation. The irony writes itself. We're not done. The number 2 spot goes to a product that was actually connected to federal regulatory action, and it's probably in your bathroom right now. Number 2, Degree Clinical Protection. Not the regular degree we already covered. The clinical strength version. The one marketed as prescription-level protection without a prescription. The one people buy when regular deodorant fails and nothing else seems to work. Degree Clinical sells the most aggressive sweat-blocking technology available over the counter, and it does it with aluminum zirconium trichlorohydrix glycine, one of the most potent aluminum compounds used in consumer antiperspirants. This isn't the aluminum-free category. This is maximum aluminum, marketed as a medical-grade solution for people who sweat through everything else. The compound works by physically plugging your sweat glands, blocking them shut, preventing your body from doing what it evolved to do over millions of years. Sweating is thermoregulation. It's detoxification. It's how your body cools itself and expels metabolic waste. Degree Clinical shuts that process down in the area directly above your lymph nodes, the immune system's front line. The long-term effects of aluminum absorption through skin remain a subject of ongoing scientific debate. But what isn't debatable is what the FTC has done regarding Degree's parent company, Unilever. Federal Trade Commission actions have targeted deceptive advertising claims across Unilever's personal care portfolio. When a federal regulatory agency formally questions how a corporation markets its products, every product under that umbrella deserves scrutiny. For anyone managing heart conditions where thermoregulation matters, or anyone whose daily medications already cause overheating and flushing, blocking your body's cooling system with aluminum plugs is fighting your own biology. Degree Clinical promises prescription-level results. What it delivers is the most aggressive chemical intervention you can buy without a doctor's approval, without a pharmacist's warning, without a single conversation about long-term risk. Maximum strength, maximum aluminum, maximum risk you never consented to. And number 1, the brand that somehow sits at the center of almost every scandal we just covered. The one company whose name keeps appearing behind the labels, behind the recalls, behind the lawsuits. Procter & Gamble, Old Spice, Benzene recall, Secret, Benzene recall, Native, chemical burn lawsuits. 3 different brands, 3 different promises, 3 different aisles in the store. One parent company that knew about every single problem and calculated that selling was more profitable than fixing. Procter & Gamble generated over $80 billion in revenue last year. $80 billion. They could test every batch of every product in every facility on Earth and barely notice the cost. They chose not to. When Valisher's independent testing revealed benzene in their aerosol products, Procter & Gamble didn't pull everything immediately. They issued targeted voluntary recalls on specific lot numbers. Translation: we'll remove the ones that got caught. The rest keep selling. When Native customers reported chemical burns by the thousands, Procter & Gamble didn't recall the product. They launched a sensitive formula and kept the original on shelves. Both versions still sell today. When manufacturing concerns surfaced across their operations, they issued carefully worded statements about continuous improvement. Continuous improvement means they know there's a problem and they're fixing it slowly enough to keep the quarterly profits flowing. This is a company that owns the budget brand, the premium brand, and the natural brand in your bathroom. They control every price point, every promise, every illusion of choice. You didn't switch from Old Spice to Native for a cleaner product. You switched from one Procter & Gamble label to another Procter & Gamble label. They sold you the disease and the cure, and they made a profit on both. $80 billion in revenue, benzene in the cans, burns on the skin, and 3 brands still sitting in your bathroom right now. Check the back of every deodorant you own tonight. If it says Cincinnati, Ohio, you know exactly who made it and exactly how much your safety is worth to them. 7 brands exposed. From benzene in Old Spice and Secret to hidden fragrances in Suave and Degree. From Dove's penetration enhancers to Native's chemical burns. From Tom's manufacturing warnings to Procter & Gamble orchestrating it all from behind the curtain. That's what's been sitting in your bathroom. That's what you've been pressing against your skin every morning. But not every brand failed. 2 companies proved it's still possible to make a deodorant that protects you without poisoning you. Safe pick number 1. Loom Whole Body Deodorant. Dr. Shannon Klingman, an OBGYN, created Loom after realizing that body odor doesn't come from sweat itself. It comes from bacteria breaking down fluids on your skin. So instead of blocking your sweat glands with aluminum compounds or masking the smell with synthetic fragrance bombs, Loom uses mandelic acid to neutralize the bacteria that cause odor in the first place. No aluminum compounds plugging your pores. No benzene-linked aerosol propellants. No heavy synthetic fragrances hiding behind the word fragrance on the label. Open a tube of Loom. The texture is smooth, almost like a light body lotion. It absorbs quickly without leaving the chalky residue you get from baking soda formulas or the waxy film from traditional sticks. The scent is subtle, clean, barely noticeable, and it disappears within minutes because it's not trying to overpower your body chemistry. It's working with it. Loom publishes its full ingredient list openly on every product and on their website. Every component is listed. Every purpose is explained. Dermatologists tested and safe for sensitive skin, including the underarm area, the groin, and anywhere else odor develops on the body. For anyone dealing with diabetes-related skin sensitivity, post-surgical healing, or medication side effects that thin the skin, Loom's gentle formula doesn't create the chemical stress that brands like Degree and Native impose. It costs around $15, more than Suave's $3 mystery formula. But that price gap is the difference between transparent science and undisclosed chemicals absorbed into your body every morning. Your skin absorbs what you put on it. Loom makes sure what it absorbs is worth trusting. Safe pick number 2, each and every deodorant. Where Loom took the clinical science approach, each and every went radically minimalist. Their ingredient lists are so short you can read them in a single breath. Coconut oil, shea butter, essential oils, beeswax. That's it. No synthetic fragrances hiding 50 chemicals behind one word on the label. No PEG compounds opening your skin's barriers to let toxins in faster. No propylene glycol doubling as antifreeze ingredient and deodorant base. Each and every is EWG verified, meaning the Environmental Working Group has independently reviewed every single ingredient and confirmed they meet the strictest safety standards in the industry. The brand publishes full transparency reports and avoids every chemical class we exposed in the 7 bad brands. No aluminum, no parabens, no phthalates, no aerosol propellants, no benzene risk. Twist open a stick. The scent comes from actual essential oils. Lavender that smells like lavender because it is lavender. Cedar wood that comes from real cedar. Not a synthetic molecule engineered in a lab to approximate what nature already made. The texture glides on clean. No gritty baking soda crystals tearing at thin or sensitive skin. No waxy buildup clogging pores. Just plant-based oils that moisturize while they protect. For families sharing a bathroom where products get passed between generations, or for anyone whose skin has become more reactive with age and medication, each and every removes the guesswork entirely. Every ingredient is pronounceable. Every ingredient has a purpose. Every ingredient is safe. It runs about $12 to $14, roughly the same as Tom's propylene glycol experiment, but without the manufacturing warning letters or the ingredient list that reads like a chemistry textbook. Your deodorant should be the simplest product in your bathroom. Each and every actually made it that way. 9 brands tested, 7 failed, 2 survived. Your bathroom deserves better. Subscribe now, and if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.